welcome. We'll use some props. So hopefully if you have a bolster, 2 blocks, a blanket, something like that, a towel maybe, and 2 balls. I'm not sure if we'll use this strap or not, but I have one just in case. So go ahead and gather some things. And we'll just begin by taking a seat together, or any comfortable position so that we can arrive. You don't have to sit as I'm sitting. You can sit any way you like. We'll just be here for a moment to notice our body. Notice whatever's touching the ground. See if you can just sit up tall, and so you can kind of feel that upright position. Notice the feeling of this. Notice your shoulders. Notice how your neck feels right now. Feel your face, maybe your eyebrows and your forehead. Don't need to change anything, just bringing a notice and awareness to that area. Now we'll feel our breath and how the sensation of it in the body. Noticing your inhale. Noticing your exhale. And it's okay, you don't have to try. We don't have to try hard to do any of that. We're here together to spend some time with our bodies, with our being, and really not make any more rules on ourselves. So more so feeling the kindness, this moment of stilling and quieting does. Just it's this gift. And let's join in together with the breath. So we'll fill up and let go together. So we'll begin first a stretch for our quads, for our thighs. And first I'll show you an option on the belly. So this is going to be if this next one, which is, or the one I'm going to show you, is a little, sometimes more challenging to get into. And you can always come to your belly and reach with your hand or a strap for your right foot or ankle. Of course, you can get something like a towel if your hand doesn't reach there. And you'll see if you can find a stretch for the thigh, like this. Sometimes you can also lay on your side if that's more comfortable. So I think it's kind of comfy to try to rest like this on the belly. So if you're feeling something there, you might just want to stay. If you want to try this other one, it's called King Arthur for some reason. And we'll get our blanket, or towel, and put it at where your floor meets the baseboard, and make sure it's thick enough. Sometimes I notice, people just have the blanket on just a flat layer, and that's why it doesn't work, and sometimes we just move it. You can even move your mat to the wall for extra support. So you really want to make sure there's a thickness there, and you'll come to all fours with your butt facing the wall. Let's sneak our right knee to that blanket, and you'll see if the knee can come. It doesn't have to come exactly to the baseboard at all, but you just want to get it fairly close there and make sure your knee is just right on that support for that cushion. If this feels like a stretch, stay. Otherwise, we'll bring our other foot, which is our left foot, into a lunge position. And bring that forward just so that it's going to support you and you can stay here. Or you can start to walk your hands up onto your left thigh. And then right away, I am already feeling a stretch here. I notice sometimes the low back wants to arch to take out here. So we just subtly create space by lengthening that tail down, and you might feel more into the thigh here. I'm going to readjust my foot back just a little bit so it feels more stable. And we will stay for a few minutes. If you have a lot of openness and range here, which for me this is plenty, I almost might need to even back out a little bit. But you can also lift, if you were to lift your arms up here, it makes it even more sensational. I'm going to keep my hands on support and just see if we can breathe and allow for the sensation as it is. So if it starts to feel like too much or something is painful about this in any way, you can lay on your belly and find your quad stretch from there. Notice if there's any other parts of your body that might soften, or I noticed I was kind of tightening up my shoulder a little bit. So just giving shoulders permission to relax. Jaw. Feeling the sensation as it is. About little less than a minute. Breath. Exhale. Make your way down. Hands to either side of the foot. Nice and slow. Left knee to the mat. Nice and slow. Sneak your right knee forward. And we'll easily sit down. If you're on your belly, you can just straighten your legs and stay there for the other side. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of shake that out a bit. And you can stay on your belly or lay down on your back. And we'll check it out. We'll notice the right leg and the left leg. Receiving that flush. You might even notice the warmth start, the blood start to come back in circulating. It might feel a different temperature than the other leg. Let's windshield wiper our way for a nice rinse. And we'll do the other side. So we'll set ourselves up, hands and knees. Sneak your left knee to that support, that blanket. So the knee is right close to the baseboard. Foot is up the wall. The foot is kind of pointed. And now, if you need a little more, bring your right foot forward on the ground. Feel supported, there's no rush. Walk on up. Noticing this side. Seeing if there comes a reaction or a discussion about it, or, conversation like, oh, this is tight. Oh, wow, why is my left side more sore than my right? What did I do? And that can kind of spin into all these thoughts, which is fine, but we're in a body meditation. So we're using this time to stay grounded in beingness, sensation. And it's not like we want to talk about thoughts as being bad. They just bring us away from the present. And they're not everything. So we do get caught up in thoughts. Sometimes I notice I've been thinking and completely away from my body for lots of time throughout the day. So we're noticing, what does this feel like, without answering the question. Just check in with that sensation, that texture in there. If it's too much, back off, lean forward. That usually takes a little off, maybe even bring an arm down. That usually takes a little bit of that sensation away. And remember, you don't have to fight to the end. I have that still. I still kind of want to do a little bit more. I say still just because I've been practicing this for so long. And there's still that kind of like, I want to stay up there because if I do it more longer, it will be better. And this is just not correct, especially in this form of yin. Because just allowing your body the space, the tenderness, and the shape, you'll receive even more benefit than if the body feels like it's trying and it has to hold and grip. So just you'll know, you'll feel it, you'll trust into it. And we'll stay for a little under a minute, just finding that right place where you can feel it still, but it's not grippy, that kind of thing. You can ride it out. Let's join in for a breath together. And then begin to release. Hands come down. However you can to support yourself, right knee to the floor. Left knee slowly comes forward. Take a seat. If you're on your belly, you can release that foot. And let's just all make our way toward our back. Take a moment. Nothing more you need to do or think about or anything other than just being here with you, feeling your legs, your arms. Shake it out a bit and we'll windshield wiper. Let's find our block. And we'll do bridge with the block. I like it on level 2, the second height. This direction, right above, right at the sacrum. So it's not on the back, it's at the base of the spine, and the butt can just kind of hang over. You'll sort of sense if it's too low, you'll be right on your butt cheek, and it doesn't feel very good. And if it's too high, you'll kind of be on your back, and that also doesn't feel very good. So just right at that nice shelf. Shoulder blades can hug in a little bit. This is nice as it is. If you want to move on, we'll hug our left knee into chest. And this shape you might even discover doesn't feel good on something. So you might have to even adjust the block a tiny bit down. Depending on how soft your block is, you might put a blanket or towel over it. So you can return to hugging left knee in and extend that right leg away from you for this part. Rather than that thigh right in the kind of the center of the upper leg, the quads. Now we're focusing a bit on this hip flexor area up to the psoas and just giving the traction by hugging the left knee toward us and the right leg away. It gives us some space. Here, just relax. Sometimes something comes up inside, like, am I doing this right? Or I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to be. And I'll tell you that for this, or I'll share, for this style of practice, and one of the things I love so much about it, especially, I would almost say for life, just anyway, there's really not a wrong way. It's really not a wrong way. When you tune in and listen and feel, your wisdom will tell you if it's a position or a situation that isn't good for you. And I think a lot of yoga is, or I feel a lot of yoga is remembering and relearning that, to listen into that intuition. And now that's not to say that there is a knowledge and a skill set with all of these practices. But once you're in the shape and we allow ourselves to just be with it, another layer reveals, another layer unravels, and we kind of feel that reveal, that ease. Let's switch sides. I tend to like to bend the right knee and bring both knees in. That sometimes feels easier. Hugging right knee, left leg works away from you. You could be active in this shape. That there is a way to do this with active, which is awesome. For this style, just relax. Just even let the left foot turn out. That's okay. Because we're doing nervous system, brain, mind, calming as well. We'll stay for a little bit longer. Slowly start to release, maybe bending your left knee a little. Knees might come in, open, one foot to ground at a time. Lift, block away, lower, nice and slow, and take the receiving of that shape. Feeling the warmth. Maybe you feel warmth in the pelvis, sacrum. There's really no direct blood supply to the spine itself or the bone, of the sacrum. But all the surrounding, you might feel that warmth. So we're just sending nutrients circulation, hydration, all into the whole pelvis. Rinse it out as you like. Let's roll to our side and we'll rise to a seat. So the next pose I'll offer is Baddha Konasana, seated forward fold. This is, you don't have to do this if this hurts or aggravates anything. The thing I love about folding forward is less necessarily anatomical, unless you have lots of range of motion, but more for the mind, because there's something about a bow that just feels so nice, and so kind of you just go inward. So anyway, I'm going to sit upright on a prop because I do need some extra support, and you'll check it out for yourself to see how much lift you want. So kind of the trick is to, as we set our feet together, you don't have to have them tight close to you for this one. You kind of make a little diamond, maybe scooch that butt back and almost tilt. So what happens is we sort of tend to round a little bit, especially if this whole hip area might be holding or a little tighter. So we start with our fingers behind us and initiate with kind of this tilt and longer spine. And as you do that, see if you can kind of stick that and lift your hands. If it kind of goes back like this, you might use your hands at first to stay here, lifting and lengthening. And as you start to kind of ease in, you can fold forward. So as long as that low back is initiated with length, and then your upper back can round, it can soften a little. Also, if this isn't painful and you don't have herniated discs or any kind of back issues that this might aggravate, you can come even farther into it, maybe even use a forehead block, or two in my case, so you can rest your forehead on something. We're going to be here for a few minutes. I'll time. Just do this. Got my timer here. And if this doesn't work, you can do this supine. Lay down. You also could do this up at the wall with your back on the ground. So set this up. You put things under your outer thighs, like pillows or blocks if you have more blocks. I also tend to kind of like to wrap my arms under my legs for some support. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but just tune in and see if it feels like something you can melt into for a few minutes. Because the trick here is going to be finding stillness and finding that kind of bow sensation for your brain, for your head. I'll bring the block in between my feet a bit and see how that goes. So as we start to marinate in the shape, tune into the inside of your body. So it is easy to want the shape to look a certain way from the outside. But once you're there, you might soften or close your eyes. Begin to feel inside of you, in your pelvis, in your spine. You don't have to even think about it. Just what does it feel like in your body? Where is the breath? Or where can you feel the breath in your body? Where might we notice extra grip that's unnecessary or extra hold? Are we over trying or wanting, or can we just allow? We'll settle in here for 2 more minutes, and then I'll call you out. So just ride the wave of sensation. About 30 more seconds. Slowly start to come out of it. And slowly bring your knees in. Feel your head. Move the things out of the way and lay down, and I'll meet you there. So go ahead and take a breath or two. Just feeling the effects of that, or that might have on your hips. And maybe you feel a little more relaxed. Let's find our balls next. Okay. So we'll place the balls right in under our low back. So you'll lift up and you'll put it right where the C curve of your low back is, about 1 inch apart on either side of the spine, and you'll lay your butt down. You may or may not feel much, depending on the shape of your spine, or the curves, I should say. But you can stay here, and if you feel something that feels nice, just stay. Or maybe lift one knee in toward you and the other knee toward you, and do very gentle rock. Very gentle. Might feel even good just to kind of hang out here. You don't have to squeeze your knees in toward you. Sometimes that actually grips the back more. So we're just being kind of holding our knees. Just another moment here. Now we'll place one foot down at a time. Come to forearms. And glide down a few inches and back up. So it's not a big movement. And the butt is just barely grazing the mat. Just gliding down and up. The balls are on either side of the spine, pretty close together. Keeping a nice even weight distribution, even weight pressure as you go down and up. Maybe 2 or 3 more passes, just slowly smoothing out these tissues. Find the center spot again, lay back down. This time windshield wiper just a bit right to left. Find center. And we'll lift and place the balls out of the way. And just lay down. That was just a very brief little goodness for our back. So we'll do one more series with the balls, and that'll be, first we'll put the balls in the center of the butt cheeks. So envision that your butt cheek was a nice circle. We'll put both balls right in the center, and we'll sit right on there. Let your body rest on the balls, and you might wag side to side just a little bit. Maybe up, down. You can kind of keep the weight of your body on the ball. We're just investigating the feeling of this. If this is pretty sensational already, you can stay, knock the knees in, relax, and allow that pressure to soften you. This area, part of the piriformis. Or if you want more, we'll cross our right ankle above our left thigh, above our knee, and lean to the right just a bit. And you can waggle side to side, waggle like you had a dog tail. You can move around until you find something. You usually don't have to go too far. Something you can rest into for a few moments. I have most of my weight on the right ball, and the left, the other ball is just sort of holding me up, but there's not that much pressure on that left ball. Also use your right hand as a kickstand to prop your thigh. Come back to center, uncross that. We're going to do a little more on the right side. So lift up the butt and move the balls with your right hand up in line with your sacrum 3 inches to the right. Straighten your right leg and lean all the way, or about 45 degrees to the right. And you'll kind of, so you won't need the other ball at all here. Because you're kind of close toward your side. And we're just doing one spot. This part, what you're going to find a spot that feels good. So it's actually a lot higher than where we just were, but it's below these hip points. If you feel the bones in the back, it's below that. It's above the cheek of the butt itself. And you'll maybe use your left foot on the ground behind you to inch up an inch or two, down an inch or two, to the right an inch, or to the left. And if you find something that feels pretty sensational, maybe achy, maybe dullish, but it's something you can be with, then we'll stay with that spot for about 3 or so breaths. Quiet, Georgie. It's time to relax. Just stay for one more breath. Georgie, quiet. And now we'll gently release the Georgie, quiet. Quiet, that's not very relaxing. Okay, So now we'll lay on our back without the balls and just see if we can sense or just see the difference from our right hip and our left hip. Notice a different feeling in the whole right leg and the whole left leg, maybe. Now we'll shake it out and we'll do the other side. So place the balls right in the center. We'll start with that first one. So right in the center of each cheek. And kind of find that spot. And maybe that's enough. I already feel it. You might notice the difference from the left and the right side here. And the left side feels like it wants its turn. So we'll cross our left ankle over above the right knee and lean to the left. And you can wag a little bit or go up or down a bit until you find a spot that just feels helpful. And you notice that this first one that we do it has a completely different kind of pitch of sensation than the one we're going to do next. Just sort of tune into this. So it's helpful to kickstand up that leg. You use your left hand, elbow on the ground to support that leg. One more breath. And now we'll back off, place the foot on the ground, lift and sneak the left ball up, as high up as the sacrum and about 3 inches to the left of it. Straighten that left leg out. So it's not at all on the butt cheek, it's higher, but it's below the back and below those hip bones that you feel in the back. And now, as you use your right foot, the left leg can just straighten and relax on the ground. Lean into the ball of the left. Inch around a bit till you find a spot. We'll stay for about a minute. See if you can relax into it. Notice this sensation compared to the one we were just in it. It feels kind of bigger, more it's kind of a more dynamic almost feels like it goes outward even more a little bit. Few more breaths. And now we'll gently release and lay down on our back. Take a moment to assess that. Shake it out and we'll set up for our shavasana. So you can find your 2 blocks and a bolster or something sort of like that. And I'll meet you there. our block like this, our blocks like this. So one block this way, on that second height long ways, and one block higher up with a little space in between, and the second block is like this on the high one. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, this is just one idea. And we'll put our bolster on top of that like this. So we're going to lay back, Georgie. And you can either have the base of your spine to the bolster, or you can, Georgie, no, this is not a toy. Or you can have a little space there in between. And what we'll do is we'll lay down over this setup with our arms open so our chest can get a little opening. So most just did our legs today, a bit of our legs and back. Legs can go straight or however you want. Arms can kind of rest above or down by your side. And we will lay down and relax in this supported shavasana. Georgie. Oh boy. Closed. Notice the feeling of your body, your shoulders, your chest. Notice the feeling of your head, support. For the weight of your body being held, melting. To find your full shavasana. And you can sneak that bolster under your knees. Slowly make our way back. Roll to our side when you're ready. As always, stay as long as you need. Thank you so much. Namaste.